Hi, you guys. I'm going to do a video about the Tucker Carlson and the Huckabee interview, and I might upload this, but um, Tucker Carlson was being so coy and obviously leading questions. He wasn't being honest or forthright because he knows stuff. Okay, whatever that comment was that he made, blowing Huckabee off a couple of times, um, he obviously is alluding to the fact that, oh, I know too many conspiracy theories, the 9/11 and the, Israel is, how do you prove that they are Jews and they're not really Jews? Okay. Because I don't watch him, but I've heard highlights of his garbage. So he basically doesn't think they're Jews. I mean, isn't that what Candace Owens and he are screaming all the time? That they're not really Jews. Okay, so, and they are. They are. And I was going to do another video because I watched this one channel for some information about Epstein or something, and he happens to be a teacher of the Bible, and he's basically saying the same shit. Some about their Canaanites. And I'm like, dude, so Mary was a Canaanite? Jesus is a Canaanite? Basically is what I was going to share the video in the comments as I talked about the video. I mean, people are insane. It's like he's getting all of his information from the Word of God that was written by Canaanites. Come on. From Ham. Wow, people are so effing dumb about the Bible. And Tucker, he's a Christian, and no, I'm not a liberal. Yeah, you are. You're a closet liberal. But anyway, this video I just shared in the post that I haven't even finished watching yet, but I thought he was going to but he's all for making Aliyah for all the Jews. So that's what he's kind of going toward. But do I have a hair? But what I am wanting to express is that I think Tucker Carlson's attitude, and he really wanted to basically say that, and he knows enough about the Bible. He says he's a Christian. He knows they are the chosen people. He knows about their rights. He knows that no indigenous people of any country in this whole world, this whole God-forsaken world, has a right, because they're not the chosen people. We don't care about the indigenous other people. We don't care about the other countries. We don't care if you're Irish, German, Russian, whatever. Who cares? If you're blood bought, born, and raised there from the time of the beginning in Italy and everywhere. I don't care. Good. You stayed there. You never were dispersed all over the world. And you have a right to live there. That isn't the point Tucker was trying to make. But the point, he doesn't know what the point is that the Jews are chosen. They're chosen people, and no, they're not Canaanites. No, they're not the wrong Jews. I don't know who he thinks they are. What indigenous people's language can you dig up and pull out of thin air and say, oh yeah, this was the indigenous language of the Egyptians before they were Egyptians. The indigenous Egyptians. Okay, now, I don't know if Mike Huckabee understood his undercurrents, Tucker's undercurrents, and that's what they were. That's what they were. And he kept being so angry about America. Okay, this 9/11 thing, I've heard the conspiracy theories. So what Tucker was getting at, what he was getting at about 9/11, what he was getting at, he's basically he's accusing Israelis of setting up some terrorists to hit our buildings, our Twin Towers, so that they could drag America into a war to help the Jews over there in Israel conquer the Jews' enemies, some of their enemies, right? But Tucker keeps forgetting we're the big Satan. Israel is the little Satan. We're the Sunday Christians. They're the Saturday. What does he say? What do those radicals say? That the terrorists, they say, first the Sunday people. First the Sunday people. Because we're big. We're the big Satan. Then the Saturday people. The little. We'll get the little Israel. They'll be easy to nab after we get big America that can't protect them, right? So Tucker seems to forget this, that, oh, America's in shambles because we're always coming to Israel's aid because we're not going to Israel's aid. We're coming to our aid because we're the big Satan that the terrorists want to take out. You fool. You ignorant, stupid idiot. Third thing, he's so selfish. The epitome of what Jesus says not to be as a Christian. He's selfish and he loves this world for his home. Now, there isn't anything wrong with fighting. I say it all the time. Fighting off the evil until we go up. But like I said, go back to the first point. They're the chosen people. That's Christianity 101. Point number 2, we're the big Satan. Okay, we're protecting ourselves. Hello. So that crumbles all of his arguments. All of them. Because America is in shambles, and it is, because of the bad presidents that even he claims he didn't like. Bush, Obama's, Biden's, the Clintons. He didn't like any of them. They're all the ones that destroyed this country. But it's Israel's fault. We keep fighting for Israel. And are they even really Jews? That was his whole point, that he couldn't be honest with Huckabee about. He had to go round and round and round, leading. I think it's called leading questions in a court of law. I don't even really know what that means, but it's like he was leading Huckabee in an abyss, yet he was withholding truth in his mind he thinks is truth. He was withholding all those conspiracy theories that which probably aren't, but he's got the wrong idea about those theories, that it's Israel that sets America up to go fight for Israel, thinking, see, it's just too evil for him to even speak it out. So he didn't. Instead, he just goes around in circles. Well, what about the borders? What does that have to do with anything? What was his point with that anyway? So, yeah, I just wanted to make this video. I was going to make another video on the other guy first, but then I saw the Huckabee and Tucker video, which I've heard about it, and maybe I've seen a clip or something from somebody else bitching about it for good reason. And I think there's like 7,000 comments. I think it's a few days old. And I just read like a couple. I made blasted of comments. And then I even forgot that it was Tucker's channel, and I started blasting Tucker. And then I went on another one to read, and they're all saying, yeah, and Trump or blah, blah, or whoever they're talking about. If they knew, why don't they give it back to the Native Americans? And oh, they're indigenous and natives and la la. And I'm like, you guys, are you really Christians? Do you really know the Bible? Do you just say you're a Christian, like Huckabee was saying? Which was kind of a good point, but it wasn't really hitting the point because Huckabee obviously maybe doesn't know about all the BS that Tucker believes in. So Huckabee didn't even really understand or know what Tucker was getting at. But even I don't know all of the stuff Tucker, all the lies he believes or how he believes them and why. But I'm getting an idea from just a little bit I hear of late. You know, what, it's been a year that he's been doing this, less. So, Tucker. So, anyway, yeah, I think that's what the whole thing was about. Tucker forgets they're the chosen people. He forgets that we're big Satan. He forgets that they are the apple of God's eye. He is selfish. He is blaming Israel for tearing America up because we're spending way too much money on fighting for Israel for all these years. And oh, we're such a bigger mass of land and we're a big fucking dump. And Israel is so gorgeous. They're tiny. That's why they're gorgeous, okay? And because they're blessed. And it's only taken them 70-something years to go from an anthill desert to this, to what they have. And oh, he thinks it's because America's throwing all our money at him and we're living in a shithole. No. It's called a miracle that he doesn't want to acknowledge. Acknowledge God in all your ways, and he shall direct your path. But no, Tucker's not going to do none of that. I'm not going to acknowledge anything about God or them blasted Jews and Israel. I want about me, my country. Again, typical stupid Americans. They don't want to be hit in their pocketbook or have whatever he was saying, a terrorist living in his neighborhood and nobody does anything. And our inflation, you don't see the big picture. We've had shit presidents for a long time. And now you want to bitch? Now? And you want to blame what? Oh, he likes Trump, I guess, obviously. But what's your point attacking Israel all of a sudden? What is your point? So this guy that I'm sharing in the post, he's got his own points, and I haven't seen it all yet. I'm going to finish watching it when I upload this. But yeah, Gaza is actually the land of Judah. Now, even when Jesus walked the earth, they didn't have all their land. And even the land that they did have, which I don't think Gaza was part of, because all the land we know about is spoken of in the Bible, where the Jews wrote it during the time of Jesus and after. So they didn't even then have all their land. So all those famous things like Bethlehem and famous areas that we read about in the Bible, they don't own some of that. And this guy, like Tucker, saying, oh, why can't the Christians in Bethlehem go over to the Holy Sepulchre of the Church of the Mary, whatever? Good grief. Are you freaking that stupid? Are you really that stupid? Oh my gosh. The Jews don't have control of Bethlehem anymore. And they've given away other areas. And Gaza is from the tribe of Judah, where Jesus, but they didn't have that during Jesus' time, I don't think. But Bethlehem, I don't think the Jews have it, but there's only 20% of Christians there. It used to be 80%. Now it's 80% terrorists. So get this. If they let those few 20% of Christians go and see the Holy Sepulchre, those terrorists are going to find out, ooh, they're letting the Christians go over. Huh. Let's pretend we're a Christian and we'll go over and we'll bomb it. They already have very few holy sites left that haven't been destroyed. And yeah, the 20% of Christians in Bethlehem, they can't. I'm sorry, they can't go over there. It's too dangerous because the terrorists are going to see that they're allowing only the Christians to come. So then they're going to pretend to be Christians. It's not safe for anybody. Then they're going to even find out who those Christians are in Bethlehem living there, secretly, hiding. They can't proclaim freely that they're a Christian. They're going to start attacking the 20% of Christians that live there. So Tucker tried to make a big old to-do about that. That it's heinous and reprehensible. Wow. And talking about, oh, they're spitting on the Jews over there. The Christians are spitting. No, there's a certain sect of Jews. I learned this from the Jewish rabbi I watch, Rabbi Alana Nava. A small, I don't even know if it's a sect, but it's a certain type of Jews that can't stand Gentiles. Goyim. They can't stand Gentiles, and they spit on them. The Christians, yeah, they're spitting on Catholics, because I've told you before, the Catholics, the Vatican, own a lot, probably all, if not all, they own a lot of the holy sites. Yeah. I don't know if it's particularly the Vatican, but it's the Catholics, if it's not the Vatican. So some of those Jews are prejudiced because of that, and some just hate. You know how Epstein was, obviously, from what I hear. Certain Jews can't stand, and in fact, there was a Christian channel that used to love the Jews, and then they said that they went over to give them some money or something in some big open area, and some soldiers were standing around, and they went up to give them money, and as they turned to walk away, they heard them laughing at them and making fun of these stupid Christians. We can't stand them, and we'll take their money. And that broke her heart. I'm like, get over yourself. Yeah, there's bad Jews. So what? Look at Epstein. But they're Jews. The majority of the Jews are not like that. And yeah, I mean, the Antichrist is going to be a Jew. Pharisees, Jesus himself said, you're of your father, the devil. He didn't even like them Jews. Okay. So why do these Christians get all high and mighty and big and puffy and think they're so... Anyway, I just want to tell you that about some of them Jews. To this day, yes, whether you're a Catholic or a Christian, Protestant, non-denominational, or just a plain old Gentile, they can't stand you. And they live in the world as well, outside of Israel. They live in other countries, and in America, some are like that. So what? There's prejudiced white people. There's prejudiced black people. There's prejudiced Chinese people. There's all kinds of nationalities that hate other nationalities. Big whoop, get over it. They're the ones, they can do that too. They're no different than anybody else. They're not perfect, but they're the apple of God's eye. And this is what my take is on that interview. That Tucker Carlson was not being totally truthful and honest with Huckabee, And Huckabee was trying to explain the best he could, which I agree with this guy. I'm sharing the video on my post. I agree with him. Huckabee said it right the first time when he said they should take all that land back, but they don't want it right now because God hasn't put it in their hearts to want it right now. But that's probably for later. But Huckabee's like, sure, yeah, they do need to have their... And then Tucker just spins in a weird answer, you know, like he really doesn't want to know. He doesn't want to care. I mean, he says he cares. He doesn't really want to know the truth. You can see it over and over. He cuts Huckabee off right when Huckabee's giving him a fact. He did it like 3 times. I don't want to be confused with the facts. America sucks. And I'm going to blame the Jews and Israel and Bibi. And they're suckering Trump. Yeah. Okay. So this is what I think. And you can watch this other video by this guy who I found out about him because I ran across him. Because when I do searches on stuff, different channels of different kinds come up. And I shared that video of his where he's explaining about the miracles. And he's talking about Aliyah and stuff like that. So he's just doing his video about the Tucker and Huckabee video. And this is mine. Okay. Bye, you guys. God bless you.